Today I want to share with you something that's incredible. Incredible. So, whenever something happens, the root of the problem is always identifiable and visible in this diagram. Really quickly going to walk you through it. Sense. This is what you sense with your five senses. You see something, you touch something, you hear something, you smell something, you taste something. Senses. Interpretation or interpret. This is basically how you interpret what you sense. How you view what you sense. For example, if you see $1 million, to you it may be awesome. To Jeff Bezos, it could be average. He interprets it differently from you. Condition. And by the way, these three are the three main functions. The three main functions of the brain. So the brain senses. Obviously, the senses sense, but the senses send signals to the brain. So the brain has the ability to sense. Then interpret and condition. So condition means your sense of self. It means what condition you are in. So, for example, if you sense a tiger, you probably interpret that as dangerous. At least if you're a rational human being. And your condition becomes, I am in danger. So therefore you could say, like, your status or your condition becomes, I'm in danger. Based on your condition, you're going to think a type of way. So if your thoughts are not in alignment with what you want, it is because something went wrong here. Obviously the sensing is usually not where it goes wrong. The interpretation is usually where things go wrong. Condition, it could be, this is like your sense of self, your self-image, your status, your condition. It could be that it goes wrong here, but if there's a problem with your thoughts, it's almost always to do with these two things. Now, after that you feel. So if you feel off, it's because you think off, or you think thoughts that are not in alignment with what you want. Because of this, you act a type of way. So because you feel a type of way, you act a type of way. If you feel really inspired, you're going to take more inspired action than someone who is really feeling off. That person is maybe not even going to take action at all. And the action obviously produces the results. So what's really fascinating to understand about this diagram is that if there's any problem you have with your feelings, then what you have to do is identify the root cause. Is the problem in your thinking? Is the problem in your condition? Is the problem in your interpretation? And I can tell you already that most of your problems are going to be from your interpretation. Let me explain why. Let's say you have a problem and you feel off about your business because you feel that it's not going to work out because you haven't made any money yet. So the thoughts you're going to have, because obviously I kind of already spoiled the thoughts at this point, but you are going to have off thoughts. You're going to think, oh, I haven't made money yet. It's been like so many months or days or weeks and I haven't made a single dollar. I am starting to get stressed. So you feel stressed and your thoughts are in alignment with this stress. Now your condition is going to be based on your thoughts. So your condition is probably going to be something like I am poor, I'm poor maybe, or I'm going to be poor. These are all kind of conditions or senses of self or statuses, the kind of label you give yourself. And based on this condition, this condition comes from an interpretation. So you basically interpreted your situation, which could be, for example, looking at your bank account and seeing that you haven't made money in the last 3 months. That is what you sense. Objectively, there's nothing wrong or right about this. You just sense, for example, that you have $500 in your bank account. How you interpret that is what determines everything. So how you interpret this is basically determines your condition. This determines your thoughts, this determines your feelings, this determines your actions, this determines your results. So the reason you're poor is not because you're poor, but the reason you're poor is because you're interpreting being poor as something that's bad, which is making you have a bad condition, making you think bad thoughts, feel bad feelings, act bad, and get bad results. So the interesting thing about this, which I actually didn't put in there, and I'm kind of, I wouldn't say regretting because that's bad interpretation, but the thing I didn't put on here is that these arrows actually work both ways. So you might think that this is just it, and now you can pretty much understand how stuff goes wrong in your life, but that's actually not the case. These things work two ways. If you feel bad, you're also going to be more likely to have bad thoughts. Let me actually just really quickly do this without messing it up too much. If you, for example, act, that can influence how you feel. Sometimes you might feel good, but your thoughts are bad because you take an action. So sometimes your actions influence your feelings and your feelings influence your thoughts instead of the other way around. it can be a two-way street. And this makes it incredibly useful and easy to understand to transform. Because not only can you try to change your thoughts, but you can also try and change your feelings to change your thoughts. You can also try and change your interpretation. You can also try and change how you act. If you really can't get out of a stressful situation and you try to change your thoughts or you try to interpret the situation differently, maybe the thing you have to do is just act in a different way, and that's going to produce the same results. So hope that sort of makes sense. I found this a really, really useful model to understand how things work. And if you have any questions about this, feel free to drop them in the comments. As always, I do 15-minute free sessions with people who are interested in going deeper on this topic. There's a link in the description for that. Hope you enjoyed it. See you in the next one.